What would I say to Brigham Young, Wilford Woodruff, and the other presidents on up to President Thomas S. Monson? I'm going to meet him soon.
Travis Wingoodsall. Comment reply video time. Getting a lot of comments lately, mostly from Child Faith, because he's back. Back in whatever color he is, he's back in digital. There we go. Back in digital. So, first, we'll go over Stanford. Stanford also sent me another project that I have to go over. But he also sent a comment that I will share with you. Wilford Woodruff is an especially false prophet on a massive scale. He is reduced to parody. The church's effort to hide behind a mere name change, this is from the 2019 Articles of Incorporation video, late last night. Edward, that just destroys this church. Well done. Thank you for that. And dear God. And so, yeah, Stanford's now commenting on that video. The church's effort to hide behind a mere name change is the chain of corporate article histories. Face slap. The two-step name change to now call themselves a religious organization is an admission of guilt. Yeah. That is an underhanded thing to do. But is a pattern of practice of evil. They do an attack. They lay low, lie in wait, let it become the new normal, attack again. Lay low, lie in wait, let it become the new normal, attack again. Exact pattern of practice. All through, from Brigham Young all the way to Nelson. The exact same pattern. And to use that to get their church back after the United States shut them down. Just completely underhanded. Just pure evil. What are you hiding, Rusty? Well, I've been doing the videos. They're gonna murder you in a coming day. Right, Oaks? Easter, you say, huh? And so, yeah, since there wasn't anything for the Super Bowl, we're now still waiting for another 9/11 red flag event. as another person had sent me a picture of the, let's see if I can find it. Labeled under screenshot, huh? Cloud Piffin strategy. It's where you orchestrate a crisis, multiple crises, to force political change leading to societal collapse. And typically it's for the economy, but you can use this for any of the fire sale stuff. Anyone will do. Anyone will do. Just the whole illicit history of criminal enterprise cannot be criminal 501c3s cannot be criminal organizations. Yep, that's why I'm hoping that we can get somebody to file a friend of the court brief in the federal courts here in Utah for Judge Shelby's case with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and the 13 ex-foes who are suing to potentially have a combined civil thing, but it's not going to work because of the damage that the church has done. Because how would you have all Mormons who want to be a part of it, and because there's Mormons outside of the United States, how are they going to get involved? And they're exceedingly poor, especially down south of the border. How are they going to be involved? Because obviously they're not giving as much tithing as the rich whites in America. And so I don't see how anything could be fair other than a straight transfer to one individual tooting his own horn to save Mormons who want to be saved in Zion. So yeah, that's what my concern has been since Nelson has been failing to do his 200-year-old plot, and that there's no following of a script anymore. How are things going to happen? As it's clear, this is their year for the events that should be the Exodus. As I already proved myself in 2020, but I guess they want to prove me again. But yeah, we need somebody to file a friend of the court to notify of the law of tithing, not the donation of tithing. That will just blow this whole thing wide open for the church. Expose them worldwide. Make it very clear to everyone that tithing is not a donation. It is not used for charity. It is not used for humanitarian aid. It is used for funding of terrorist activities around the world, and especially in the United States, to destroy it and then hoard money so that they can take the money and run upon the winding up and dissolution. And I couldn't believe it, reading it at the end of the 2 hours. You guys missed that unless you watched it clear to the end. The 2019 articles say not only is the corporation, now the church, just the shell game to avoid the law. But they then go and say, the corporation has no members. Oh my God! And so that participation stunt that Nelson pulled, now we understand why. Just hilarious. And so, maybe the next thing we're going to see, because I did see donations, I didn't see tithing listed, is that they're going to claim the Section 119, well, it's a donation. Yeah, raw donation. Just utterly criminal. Just appalling. And so again, this is a clear admission of guilt, given that Heber J. Grant, when he started his corporation, deliberately chose the profit secret model. Profit spelled with an F. He could have set up the church as a religious society with no pecuniary objective. Did I pronounce that right? I identified those statutes he could have used to set up a religious society in his email that he sent me to you with the 1851 ordinance. Well, they could have. He didn't. Which is weird. Because it's in Utah that they filed. And so it's not like he has to go to Washington, D.C., and that there's an agency that has to review them all and approve them and say, oh, wait a minute, you're dissolved. You can't file again. Especially with the same name. And yet, no, he had Mormons in position in office to do all the notary and all of the filing in the Utah government to keep it a secret from the rest of the federal government. And yet, still, he did it as a corporation. Because the church had assumed, or led Mormons to assume, that the church was never dissolved by the United States of America. And that's where they got themselves into trouble. I guess they forgot. And it could be because of the trauma of John Taylor getting locked up and getting dissolved, that Wilford Woodruff was kind of forced and threatened by the United States to let Mormons know, and instead he gave us official declaration number 1, verse 11. Oops. Oops. And so yeah, this and right before I filed, bastards. That may be what the lawyers were trying to claim to the judge. I didn't understand. I followed the whole court filing document that I didn't understand what was going on. Why? And I couldn't understand. Didn't make sense. So, yeah, this was a temporary thing. I'm not happy with Kroger right now. They're being mean. See, I have to have Mountain Dew for my health. It's a medical necessity. It is, honest. There's a couple of reasons why I need Mountain Dew for my health. But nonetheless, it doesn't work with Coke or Pepsi. I was curious about the blackberry Pepsi. I was very wanting to test that, but chose not to. Anyway, Kroger Smith's has the membership card that, is in their system, and originally it would show what I purchase so that their system can then put those items on sale for me, knowing that I need to buy them. This was what I normally buy. And this was back when they had coupons. They would mail coupons to me of what I purchase. And it only made sense to use the ones with free, but nonetheless. And so it was awesome. The stuff I normally buy was always on special sale at Smith's, which you need to understand is an incredibly great deal. It's not 5 cents off the purchase of 3, as in the original days of coupons from the Sunday morning paper. No, this was, buy 5, you only pay a very low price for purchasing 5 of the product or more. Those kinds of sales. And normal sale prices, just by being a member, are cheaper than at other stores as a result. However, in 2020, something happened. Kroger decided that they think they can make more money by telling us what we are to eat, rather than providing a discount for what they know we eat. And again, this is the greed policy of corporate businesses and the Church of Jesus Christ, the Latter-day Saints. In case you forget, we're talking about corporate greed. That's why they're doing this, along with other malicious activities. And so this 1.25 liter of Mountain Dew was always on sale for at least 4 for $5. Awesome deal. And then I move here, and all of a sudden, one shopping trip, it's no longer on sale. And I'm like, what the hell? I have to escalate to the 2 liters that were on sale, 3 for $5 or something like that. 2 for $5. I think it was 2 for $5 first, and it varies. And I noticed that over the years living here, that they've been purposely manipulating me as to which Mountain Dew to buy. And thus we get to this past month, which these were not purchased at my regular shopping trip, but they happened after my regular shopping trip for January. They purposely did not want me to purchase these when they know I do. This is my favorite choice of the volume. They know this in their system, and they intentionally did not want me to purchase these ever since taking them off sale. But this month, for my shopping trip, as this was no longer on sale, and the 2 liters were sort of, and I was going to do those, but then I saw that they had redesigned it as these are gone this month. That's why I panicked. But then saw the 2 liters and went, fine. It'll just be a heavier thing to carry back home and cause the wounds in my hands and in my feet. This is getting worse. This isn't getting better. I mean, yeah, I know, Band-Aid and some thing and whatever. Don't chicks dig scars? No? It's just me. Huh? And so I see that the soda pop and the cans were buy 2 12-packs, get 3 free. And so, okay, that works just fine. We'll do that and suffer the pain for the heavy trip. Dear God. So, yeah, I'm finishing off these, and then we'll get to the cans. But it is not cool what Kroger has been doing to their customers. And there's other problems that I can go on and on about. What the hell, guys? You let AI take over, and this is what happens? Is this a result of AI? Get rid of it. Get rid of it now. Blockbuster fell because of algorithms. Your algorithms were based on membership cards, but apparently AI is wanting to do something else that's hurting the customers. Stop it right now. Anyway, back to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who's no longer got members and are hurting them anyway. David O. McKay started the gravy train for general authorities getting paid. Really? Because the Section 119 made it very clear. Unless you're talking about the extra money that Paul Adams, I think his name is. He's in Northern California. He was rendered homeless. Does videos from his car. I don't know if he's still alive. But he was talking about how when the president of the church chooses a new general authority, like Karen, for example, is the latest, they give them a non-disclosure bribe bonus of $1 million instantly to become a general authority, and then put them on the dole to receive money from the church, for which they then have to have it paid back in tithing as a laundering operation. And so, yeah, he was also talking about how the lower 6 are not in the know of the upper 6 with the first presidency. And so seeing what Oaks confessed to with their secret combination around the world, and seeing when I do certain videos that just expose this church, they then send out the lower 6 to be covered in the church news. They lay low, lie in wait, let it become the new normal, and then boom, put up an upper 6, like Holland. Let's use muskets on the apostates. God sperm. Don't even get me going on Oaks. And so, yes, I'm very well aware that Nelson and Oaks are staying out of the church news since my latest on them. Hilarious. So, yeah, patterns. And so he says he wonders what tipped the scale. Well, yeah, I am aware of what that could be. Having done collections, let's say, of David O. McKay, I've seen some things that I know that if I were to do a deep dive study video for you, we would find out what tipped that scale. So, yeah, very interesting stuff there. Looking into what persuaded him became an open-hand core, hardcore priestcraft operative. comical what the church will do to avoid income tax. You know, you can't judge us, religious freedom. And that's where 2019, that's where it comes from. And the filing with Judge Shelby. And that's why having somebody file a friend of the court brief that Section 119 says law, not donation, is just going to destroy this church. And then thus would be nice if I had an errand legal counsel to then go in and crush them. And so yes, like I've said, both the church and Trump are doing the final four for the latter days. A fall, transfer, exodus, and then New World Order. So Trump, yeah. AI voting machines. Biden out. Coup. The fall of the deep state Dems. And then the transfer of authority to Trump. You know, we had the 3 stages that we all witnessed in the news of Biden inviting him to the White House, White Horse, to shake his hand, and then January 6th, Kamala Harris, and then finally on Inauguration Day, transfer of authority. And then the Exodus, get the hell out of MAGA America. Deportations, Exodus, and working towards MAGA Zion, MAGA Evangelical Zion, for which he's already planning the celebration next year. So we already know what's coming. We see it. This is the pattern. They are self-fulfilling their interpretation of scriptures for the latter days in the building of Zion. And so that's why Gaza is involved, because evangelicals believe that Jesus is going to set things right for the Israelis in Jerusalem. Build the temple over the mosque that shouldn't be there. And so for Nelson and the church, you have the fall. It would have to be the government of the United States of America, so that the transfer of authority is from the fall of America and the federal government, so that Utah becomes a sovereign nation, along with every other 52 now states in the Union. All independent nation states. And so then Utah, Governor Cox is put in place specifically to bend the knee to Nelson and hand it over to Nelson, which makes Cox Lucifer. Joseph Fielding Smith, Sr., The Way to Perfection. Lucifer at Adam-on-Diamond will hand over the keys of government to Jesus. Talk about the devil never supports his own. And so the church gets their kingdom back. American primeval. This is a pattern for the church to get their kingdom back. And so this is what they're up to. This is what they're doing. They're getting their kingdom back. But the United States must fall. That's why Trump is going all out for his exodus. And why Nelson now all of a sudden doesn't want to kick out people from Utah, as he's been doing under Biden. He's flip-flopping now. Now he wants to stand in defiance of Trump. We're a sanctuary state. Which he was setting it all up under Biden. 2021, when Biden took over, the church begins bringing in refugees, putting out investment money to support terrorist activities for the refugees here in Utah, for illegals in Utah. Not a coincidence. Church is purposely playing both sides, setting up that false dichotomy contention on purpose. And the church stands back and goes, what are you talking about? No. And Governor Cox is thrown on the front lines to take the brunt of it. They're just using him like a rag doll. Rag doll, living in a day. What a cutie. Rag doll. Rag doll. I want to listen to that. Let's see if that becomes a song. Okay? And so they break the law, get fined just the one time, and then make the name change. They broke the law, made the name change, then got fined through the SEC for the one thing just the other year. Let's see if the IRS falls for this. If a Democrat IRS agent won't shut them down, a Trump IRS agent won't. That's why the whistleblower for Ensign Peak Advisors and me filing in 2020, he was in 2019, nothing. A MAGA agent won't do anything to this church. And so it's a different tactic that you have to use. You have to show them that the church is cheating on Trump. That's how you get the church in trouble now under Trump. Because appealing to justice and the Constitution and the rule of law, we all see the deep state Dems failing on that. It's illegal! So, SCOTUS gave Trump the free pass to do whatever he wants as president. Are you not understanding this? You were freaking out when SCOTUS did it, and now you forgot? And so, yeah, you got to use a whole different tactic to see something and say something about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And still, you can't do it in the state of Utah. And so, yes, you have to do a different tactic in the state of Utah. And I don't have an Aaron with me to help me out with that yet. So, Stanford's 2019 thing was just a bombshell. Just destroys this church. So apparently everybody wants to see the Target news clip, and everybody's complaining. It's a news clip. I'm not making anything up. It was in the news. Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks reported on it. It's hers. I put the clip in there for you. It is not fake news. It happened. And what she was talking about is that the stockholders were upset with Target about the DEI initiatives and ordered them to stop it. No DEI. Just as other companies have been doing. Which, yes, I could have done the video for those companies too. Just put in the different clips, the different news coverages of this. Because the church released their SEC listing for Ensign Peak Advisors after the whistleblower in 2019. I've got the whole video. That's where the picture clips come from. And so I'm able to go through it and check, do they have stock in these particular companies that are now in the news that stockholders are threatening them with? Because it's the church. The church is the major stockholder in these companies. It's all listed. We can see for ourselves. And so I then, to make it longer, because nobody likes short videos, I put the other stocks news about the church and the scandals. It's all I did. I do not speak, and yet everybody is hating it. There was one person yesterday who came to it and said, I came here hoping for something informative, and on social media? Are you kidding me? Yes, he is. He's purposely upset that the church is not true, and he's making excuses with abuse to justify attacking the video content, which is news. That's it. That's why in the state of Utah, all local news must be faith promoting. You cannot criticize this church in the news. The church is innocent. We're victims. Run the test, Mormons. They will not do it. A little quick video I did that nobody will watch. That's a prerequisite. That prerequisite video this morning is all everybody needs to know first before watching any of my videos. I ran the test. Why didn't Mormons? Real simple. Once you know the church isn't true, everything that they say and do is false. Real simple. And so then stand for his question. What are you up to then? If you're lying to us and you're deceiving us, what are you up to? And thus, American Primeval, they're cooing the government to get their kingdom back. Real simple, basic. Criminals are not complicated. They don't get inspired. It's the same pattern of practice, same old situation, which could also be a good song in the theme song in the description below. Same old sit. All right, and so another person who's upset with it, he's Pip ASMR. I was hoping that phase had gone away. It's auditory, sensory, nerve variance or something like that. It's where people do sounds and oh dear God, get rid of that. Anyway. And it could be Pippus Mr. Mr. Pippus. I don't know. But anyway, he says, well, this was a waste of time. It was news. What were you wanting it to be? I mean, seriously. And to make that kind of a comment because the church isn't true, huh? You're offended. And so, yes, people who make these kinds of comments are threatening me to be silent. Shut up, Travis. Leave the church alone. You can leave the church, but you can't leave us alone. Well, apparently you can't leave me alone. I mean, seriously, I have my own channel. I'm not knocking on your door. You chose to click on my video. And so you aren't leaving me alone. Real simple. Beam and moat. Look it up. And you won't. Alright, so now trial of faith. Doing a questionnaire on plain, pure, and most precious. It's only found in one place in the Book of Mormon in all of its beauty. And so, yes, it's kind of interesting because as much as it's in the Book of Mormon and therefore the Word of God, if you try to use it as a pickup line on a chick, you are playing. She might get offended, especially if you call her a chick. I happen to think plain girls are hot, but that's just me. And so, yeah, in Superman and Lois, the one who was in charge of the paper before Lois Lane took it over, I like her. She's cute. She's got a nice personality, and the wedding dress, I just, oh, so beautiful. But anyway, then she said, no, I don't want to marry you. So yeah, it will be interesting because there's been a lot of shows under Biden that were DEI. Is that all going to stop now? Pay attention. Inquiring minds don't really give. Anyway, number one. The fact that you were locked up sounds like another prophecy from scriptures that needed to happen. Crazy. Yeah. Joseph of Egypt. It wasn't just for Joseph Smith. And then others. Samson, Jesus. All of them, those Jews, they just plagiarize each other. 28:10. So if the vegetation law, good for you, is most accurate, law means it is the law. It's not most accurate, it's not accurate, it's the law. Most accurate, oh my God. Who or what created the seeds? Oh, you did do that. Chicken or the egg? Ooh. And so, yeah, this is where the Big Bang with evolution, the theory of evolution, kicks in to explain it without a test. And so, no, it would be the Bible, as written by the Jews, says that the chicken was made first, and that after partaking of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, then they had seeds. We don't know, and we shouldn't speculate until we can run a test. So, what we do know is it requires a chicken to produce other chickens. There is no indication that a seed can exist independent of a chicken to produce other chickens. Stick with that. Okay? So yeah, don't claim you're making a theory when all you're giving is your opinion or speculation. Theory testing requires the evidence. We don't have the evidence. We can't make a theory test. 3450. So if the prophecy doesn't happen, we move along. Which prophecy? The final four is what we're waiting for. Because mine is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints falls. Likewise, the federal government falls so that we become nation states. The church transfers everything to me. Then I put out the Section 133 call out to Mormons through the bishops for those who want to come to Zion. Trump has to collapse the federal government because Trump says that we can't have sanctuary cities Zion and New Jerusalem in America. So now both of them need to happen. Whereas under Biden, it would have been perfect. Nonetheless, Here we are, because Nelson failed. And so then we build Zion at that point, with the money transferred to me from the church. And so that's why I'm really hoping that somebody can at least put in with Shelby, the friend of the court, to say tithing is the law. We need this corrected in our society and around the world so that everybody knows tithing is not a donation. The Mormons have been lying yet again, committing crimes yet again, so that everybody understands. Because apparently running the test from Matthew and the Alma chapter 32, starting in verse 28, is not clicking for anybody. And so, yeah, utter destruction happens if the prophecies don't happen. Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith make that very clear. Utter destruction, precisely as it stands in our correctly translated Greek New Testament. And so, yeah, I was concerned because of Nelson's failures that we were going to head into utter destruction. But here we are. So yeah, just like in 2014, I'm going, oh, so we may be able to do Zion after all. Huh? Okay. We'll see. Here we are. Here we are. So yeah, I've got tons of videos to catch you guys up on. I'm just not able to keep up, and it just keeps piling up. When you prophesied Nelson would die after the eclipse on 8 April 2024, no, that's the curse of Joseph Smith. I didn't prophesy it. That's the curse of Joseph Smith. I mean, I could prophesy that Nelson would die, but I can't give you a date of when he's going to die. I know the frame for him dying, because now I was begging and pleading that it wouldn't be, and it is. We've got a sun shall be darkened, moon turned to blood, stars fall from heaven at the end of March, or in March, on a Jewish holy day as well, which is why there's a whole bunch of important backups that I need to redo for you guys now that we're at the end of it all. When I was doing them at the beginning, now we got to do it at the end. And so, yeah, it's the curse of Joseph Smith. And I guess, were you around when I started doing those? Or did I do them when you were on vacation, touring the world? But yeah, the curse of Joseph Smith. Let's bring that one up. So in Deuteronomy 19, 16 through 19, the Jewish law is the curse for false accusers. That their false accusation against an innocent person is to receive the punishment that would have been given to the falsely accused. And so Esther, the book of Esther, uses that law to tell their story, which has become the Jewish holy day of Purim. It is typically in March, depending on whether or not there's a leap year. Or, leap year, thus an extra added month. And so the whole story of Esther is based on that. And I've been going over with viewers, as you were gone for when I started this, that there were some Esther stuff involved as well for certain days. And so I was teaching about the Jewish holy days, teaching about the Jewish understanding of scriptures and writing prophecies for the latter days and the fulfillment of that with the signs in the heavens. And so, for example, the tetrad that you guys only know of as a lunar tetrad, in 2014, 2015, when Perry Packer Scott bit the big one, Mormons were going, is this it? Is this the latter days? And Chad Daybell said, yes it is, I'm Jesus. I'm preparing the way for Jesus from the zombie apocalypse, and now he's going to be sentenced to death. Because he went against Monson, who said, no, this is not the latter days. And then Monson, oops, shouldn't have said that, Monson. The curse of Joseph Smith smoted him down hard. And so, yes, when Joseph Smith was framed and blamed in Carthage jail to be murdered, they did so under a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse with stars falling from the heaven during that time period. Obviously, he can't die on both a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. There is a grace period span for this to happen within. And so using that as my measuring stick, none of the popes follow this pattern. It's not for the Catholic Church. It's not for government, not the United States nor any other government around the world. Only for Brigham Young and every single false CEO that followed him. To 100% accuracy, it is the law. More than 3 confirmations here with this. And so, knowing this, it doesn't make any sense now for Nelson, who's the latter-day guy, to not be subjected to this. This is what I'm talking about for Nelson's death. So thus on the 13th, it's tithing settlement time. Nelson is going to have a reckoning for tithing. So I'm hoping, so let me put curse of Joseph Smith, that will be taken care of. Okay. So let's do a station identification break and we'll come back and see if we can finish it off in less than an hour and a half. Alrighty. So, back to the curse of Joseph Smith. When you prophesied Nelson would die after the eclipse on 8 April 2024, do you think that says you're a false prophet? And seriously? I predicted 8 April 2024, and you think that because Nelson didn't die, I'm now false? Come on! See, with the curse of Joseph Smith, it has to fit within the signs in the heavens. That was a sign in the heavens. That was the end of the latter days. Revelation 12, or 19, 11 and 17. That's it. That was the end. And so it was Nelson who failed, not me. I got it. Just like in 2020, I got it. I did my part. Nelson failed. It was just a test run in 2020. Doesn't matter. They failed. Not me. I got it. I'm the true prophet. They're the false prophets. But they're not really prophets because they planned and orchestrated this for 200 years. Big difference. And so, all at the end of last year while you were gone, as Idaho chick was getting bored with me, and she's running away and hiding now. I miss her. I like her. She's fun. She's got a lot of fun things to contribute. Now she's gone. But anyway, that was a time period, again, for the curse of Joseph Smith to happen. And it was frustrating for me because I want this to be over with. I wanted to be in Zion, and we were supposed to be in 2021, and we're not. And so I'm very cranky right now. That these false prophets are so in denial that I'm the guy that they say, what? Wait, no. Okay, so we got that one. Well, let's test him again to make sure. Wow, he did it again. Well, let's do it another test. We'll find out. One of these tests he's going to be wrong. He can't be that stupid. But nonetheless. And so, as we got to this year, I made it very clear. In fact, I think it was at last year, after the holy days of the Jews, I was saying, no, it can't be it for Nelson to die. I'm still watching because we're off script, but nonetheless, I'm still watching. Because the curse of Joseph Smith is not by me, it is not by the church, right? Nelson, you didn't murder Monson to fulfill the curse of Joseph Smith, right? It was so that you can have the LLC corporations. And it just happened to be on the big show. Right? It was an oopsie on your part. And so that's why previously I started doing picture memes for you about Purim and the solar eclipse for March. And so we're still in February. We're not there yet. But as I've said, the 13th is not just tithing settlement, it's also the first moment when the pattern would fit for any time thereafter for the curse of Joseph Smith on Nelson. So I'm paying very close attention because it's not up to me. But even though we're off script, it should not go beyond a month after. And so the solar eclipse is on the 30th. There we go. 2025 March eclipses. Oops, this was not the one, but this will work. Sort of. Not really. Find my picture of me as the double Moses. And so I didn't. Well, it was a while back where I put the two pictures and combined them into one. But the main one that I first did was putting the 2020 Exodus stuff that I did, showing untrue. False. And then, here we go again. Mormon Exodus 2025. And so, the Jewish holy days tend to start on the 15th of the month, which coincides with my seership visions. True. not false. Specifically, the 9/11 one from last year on 9/11 with Irene. I'm going, what the hell? And so thus why when we came to the two tabernacles holy days last year, I was wondering if that was going to involve something that would apply to the fall and transfer of the church to me. And thus why I'm curious why it wasn't Nelson or Oakes. It was Irene. Irene is number 4. Nelson, Oakes, Holland, Irene. Why is it Irene in my dream? I couldn't control the dreams no more than I could stop myself from flirting with that girl in the dream yesterday morning. Oh dear God, that was humiliating. To watch myself flirt shamelessly and scream, "What are you doing? No!" I couldn't stop it. It happened, and I'm ruined. I'm all alone. And so, yeah, the 13th now puts us in range for Purim to start us off for the Curse of Joseph Smith time period. Nelson is on his deathbed. He's going to die soon. We know this. And so here we come. And so, yes, this is not up to me. Could be Oakes. If Oakes wants to ruin it and do it now, before 3 more days from now, that's up to him. But this is the first starting point. Now, if it had happened yesterday when the moon eclipsed Mars, then that would have been acceptable because of the significance of the sign in the heavens being 4 days early. I would have allowed that to explain the Curse of Joseph Smith, fitting for that. But it didn't. So now we have to wait for the 13th. So any day after that, clear through the 2 eclipses, which it doesn't show the date for whether it's the 29th or the 30th. I think it's the 30th on the new year rather than the end of the year, I think. Don't quote me on that. It's the 29th or 30th, whenever the eclipse is. But the eclipse does not have to do with the 3 days of darkness that April did. That needs to be understood. That's why I'm just not happy. All's supposed to be done. We were supposed to be in Zion because the Book of Mormon said so. And here we are because they failed. We're off script. And so then it's another 30 days after the solar eclipse that we have a time frame for. And wouldn't you know it, this year Passover is in April. Okay? And so Oakes, following 3rd Nephi chapter 1, setting a day to murder the believers if the sign in the heavens doesn't happen. Which always confused me. We know the sign in the heavens are going to happen. If it's literal history true in the Book of Mormon, they would have known that the sign in the heavens would have happened because they were very good with astronomy. Nonetheless, we know the solar eclipse sign in the heavens is going to happen. And yet, And so Passover, the Exodus. And so I'm hoping it won't go that far Such is the pattern of practice. Okay? Or you had to establish a time frame for the same reason you just explained. Now, I don't establish the time frame. The Curse of Joseph Smith did. So when I'm running the test, yeah, I have to have a measurement thing. It can't be random things for each president. That's the way it was for all Catholic popes, for presidents of the United States, and others that I ran the test for. Random. So therefore there's no pattern. Therefore there is no curse of Joseph Smith, or a curse of God, or whatever. No, this was very clear. There's patterns. That pattern is what I'm going off of. That's what makes a person a prophet. There is a risk of the theory not working out. Yeah. I mean, how many times did Edison test for a light bulb until he finally got it? Then how reliable are prophecies? Again, predictions. You run the test until you figure one out. That's why the test for false prophets. If they make a prediction of the future with the day and the hour and it doesn't happen, yeah, false. The false prophet should recognize that and go, oh, I'm a false prophet. Maybe I should find a different source for truth. And yet, Nelson, can you explain this to Child Faith for us? Why do you not confess that you're a false prophet and look for truth? Can you explain that to Child Faith, please? He wants to know. He doesn't want to go to a stake president for disciplinary action. And your theory, really? You're going to try to pull that one over on me when I'm explaining this to you and you're talking about it and getting it wrong? You don't have a theory. You have an opinion. Ignore your opinions. Develop a theory. If you're just going to speculate, stop right there. Is that Nelson has been shown on videos since then. No. 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 You need more than one premise for your conclusion. More than one. It helps. Haven't seen him in person yet. That's like my point. That's why I'm paying very close attention. He's near death. And so here we come to the next set for the curse of Joseph Smith. See, the latter days have all been completed. We're still waiting for the curse of Joseph Smith on Nelson, for the fall of the great and abominable church and the transfer to me, so that I can get you guys in an exodus to Zion. Maybe the church is hiding his death. Could be. There's the thumbnail picture and the title of the video. Oaks covering up death of Nelson. Awesome. Because you were there with 9/11 in 2023, weren't you? When they did that. There you go. Like the, yep. 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 Hilarious. I repeated that one. Okay. So let's see if we can finish with these. Okay, yeah, just 2 left. Great. I don't know the rest of the story. What happened after the fishermen found Morgan's body? Oh, didn't I tell you? I'm pretty sure I told you. Yeah, you did. So William Morgan still sent information about the banana plantation to finish. No, he's gone. He can't have any contact anymore. He has to be gone because the enemy is still looking for him. It was the judge in Western New York who had to give the ruling that enough time has gone by with no evidence of a body so that his wife can then be remarried to somebody else to take care of her and the kids. And so the judge ruled his disappearance as a death for her to legally be married to somebody else to be taken care of. And people don't understand that, as those who talk about that are creeped out that an old man married her. And you guys don't get it. He was a York Rites Freemason. And so he was merely doing what Freemasons do for each other, take care of each other and their families. That's all that was going on there. There was no untoward perversions or what people want to turn into. And so no, it's just, he had to flee. His life was forfeit if he stayed. And so Senior had the responsibility to get him out of the country and to finish that book to warn America. And so his family is still in Batavia, but until he is found and restored or declared dead, there's nothing that they can do to take care of themselves. Women were not allowed to take care of themselves back then. And under Trump, they're no longer allowed to take care of themselves now. Trad wives for everyone. And so, yeah, the children, likewise, how are they going to be cared for? And so, I mean, yeah, he had the money fronted from the Batavian press that was able to take care of him for a little while longer. But, you know, that's why they had laws in the court systems that when a person's missing for so long, he's then declared dead. And so that was immediately timely processed so that she and the children could be taken care of. And that's when the York Rite Freemason then took care of her by marrying her to justify it. So that's the same thing with Emma Smith. She had to get remarried in order to be taken care of because she didn't go with Brigham Young. That's all. There was nothing untoward. She didn't abandon Joseph Smith as a false husband and upset that he was a polygamist and a rapist and all. No. She needed to be taken care of. She's a woman. She can't do it on her own in America. The suffrage movement had not yet happened yet. So she had to have a man take care of her. Is that why, Idaho chick? Is that why you're upset with me over the women need a man? Is that what you're upset with? Talk with me. What are you feeling? So anyway. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed. I was hoping that the orange substance in the baggie was candy, and it wasn't. It was for sewing. I want candy. I dated a girl named Candy. And then she dumped me off in the older singles ward. Can you stab me in the back, please? Thank you. Thank you very much. Travis has left the video.